Alright, so I've been using this ATN X-Sight here now for a couple of months, and the more I use it, the more I find out about it. Little tips and tricks. I went to an external power supply which supplements it. I use a scope ring just to hook up. This is an Anchor. Just got that. It's like 3200 milliamps. I was using those PNYs rechargeables. They come in a pack of 2. And I had a bigger, I think it's a 7800 milliamp charger. It will, I use that to charge those. Get about 2.5 hours of running time with everything on. That's the Wi-Fi, GPS, everything. In addition to the batteries. I'm simply using alkaline batteries in the actual unit itself. And when you power it up with a USB attached, it'll ask you if you want to run off a USB power. So give you much more life, because this thing does eat through batteries pretty quick. But for what it does, it's well worth it. It's been working very well. I want to show you a couple little tips. One is this Butler Creek lens cap. You'll see in another part of the video that it greatly increases the clarity of it in night and day vision mode. The clarity. What it does, it's just a Butler Creek cap with a hole drilled in the middle of it, about a 1/2 inch hole, and basically it increases the depth of field. The scope doesn't look straight through. You look through an eyepiece and it's projected onto a lens on the other end. So when you're looking through the eyepiece, there's not a scope that runs straight through there. You're looking at another projector that's transmitting from the chip right here. So in a little bit I'm going to try this on night vision mode as well. Mainly this was found out by some folks that use this. When I've been hunting at night with this high-powered intensifier, I'm running this stream light here on the end of it, and it's a very powerful IR illuminator. This is a stock one that comes with it. It's good for 50 yards or so, but if you really want to increase the power of this thing, you need an additional illuminator. Now this one is simply on or off, so when you turn it on it's very bright, and I find it tends to wash out. So I'm going to test that Butler Creek cap in night vision mode as well. We'll put it on this video. Let's see, one other thing is, when you do sight in your scope, be sure you record the X and Y coordinates. X and Y coordinates on the, when you do the zeroing of it, it'll bring up coordinates as you dial in your zero using the one-shot zero function. It's very important to write down those coordinates. And there may be a plus, a negative, and a minus on there as well. So that's in case you lose power to it or you do another firmware install. You don't have to zero it anymore. You simply dial in those coordinates. It should be right back to zero as long as it's on the same gun. Another tip that I've found is, don't get me wrong, this is a great scope for what it does. It's not like looking through a very expensive Night Force scope or anything like that. It's not glass, it's a camera with crosshairs basically in a day and night mode. It's got an infrared cut filter, so that's how you use it in night mode. But my point is, the firmware can be upgraded on this, and as ATN goes along, they're making better and better firmware for it. It's got a couple little bugs. If you're ever looking through the scope and you find that it's not crystal clear, for some reason, if you take a snapshot, which is this button here, this one here, if you press it, it'll record. This one here will take a snapshot. So if you press that button, it does something with the shutter. It takes a snapshot, and then your picture comes back crystal clear again. I think that's a firmware issue that they're working on, but that is a workaround for right now. Go on and have a look at the testing with that lens cap on and off. Here we go. Found that when you do have this cap on and it's closed, everything is much sharper. It does affect the colors a little bit, but not really concerned about colors, just being able to see the target, you know. Well, this table's fighting me. Alright, cap open. You see the word Kubota kind of goes fuzzy. Cap closed, word Kubota is now sharp. And that's just maybe it'll come out better when I put it onto a big screen, but open. Even though it's still focused out there, you could shoot a hog or a deer or whatever. Put the cap on, closed, everything comes into good sharpness. Once again, let's on the print of Kubota. Right now it's sharp, cap's closed, open, pretty damn blurry. So, this is just the cap without the lens sun shield on. Just got the cap attached to the scope itself. You gotta really push it hard to make it stay shut. Just a plastic cap from Academy. Butler Creek, I think is the name of it. But I'm gonna do another test after it gets dark. People say it won't work with on night mode, but I'm finding it with a very strong the stream light, which has no adjustment on it. It's just all on or all off. It will wash out. So I'm going to give this a try and see if I can use that stream light with this cap and see what kind of effects I get. But we'll have a look at that and I'll show you a couple other things. Alright, we're testing this theory of the Butler Creek lens cap working at night. These next shots I'm going to focus on the tractor and the shooting shack out there. This first is going to be without, right now you're looking at without any illumination at all. Tractor's probably, I don't know, 50 yards away or so. I'm going to turn on the stock illuminator. Put it on high. Okay, that's a stock illuminator. It's pretty well focused. Focus on Kubota. That looks pretty good right there. That's the shooting shack. Out there you can barely see it. Alright, now I'm going to go to back to the tractor. Turn on this is the stream light. As you can see, you can't even read Kubota or anything like that. It washes out stuff that's at reasonable range. And there's a shooting shack. Alright, that's with the Butler Creek cap open. Alright, I'm going to close the cap. Well, I can still certainly see out there. Not near as bad. You can now read the Kubota part on that. I think it actually function pretty decent with the cap closed if you've got the enhanced illumination. I'm going to turn off the stream light. So the only thing on there now is the stock intensifier. I'm back looking at the tractor. It's not putting out a whole lot. Let me make sure I'm on high. It is. I'm going to open the cap. So I'd say if you had the stock intensifier, you're not too bad. Of course, you can't see much for more than 50 yards. If you put in a very strong intensifier out there, that's with the cap open, cap closed. I think it brings things into detail. Let me do it again out here. Let's see. Alright, there's the shooting shot. Let me zoom in a little bit, see if that affects it. Alright. That's with the cap closed, cap open. Closed. Turn off the stock intensifier, see if it's affecting it at all. I don't think it is. Alright, it's completely off. Turn off the stream light. And nothing. Stream light on. Butler cap open. And the zoom is about, where's the zoom at? Well, that's at 12. Closing it. I don't know. There's definitely some more to it. So with the right amount of intensification, external IR light, I don't know, something to think about. Maybe this hole in the cap is not just for daylight. I think you can make it work day or night. At any rate, here we go.